Last weekend, I felt we started to trend upwards some. I was really pleased with what I saw on the field defensively, from the mound, at the plate. Some of our athletes are really starting to swing it the way they're capable of. I don't know why we came out our opening weekend a little bit tight, but think it's starting to sink in that style of mentality doesn't work for us. So I felt really good about this last weekend in all phases of the game. And it makes me feel very good about walking into a very tough Mary Nutter Palm Springs tournament.
Get started with Eric Bailey.
Patty, thanks so much for your time today. Really appreciate it. I want to ask you, I know there are a lot of your players that have strong family involvement, but what does it mean to see Jocelyn's family so invested in her career?
It's an honor, really, to watch the family just really into every pitch, and the amount of money and commitment that they've made to follow us and follow her career. And her father is at every game, her grandmother's at every game, and they're just living out of their suitcases to enjoy this last hurrah of their daughter. And really, obviously, is about to become a monumental career and home runs, but just overall, just being part of a team. And she leads us through her example at the plate and her focus and her intensity and the things that she does at practice, where she's really trying to talk to the team about what she works for her. So she, besides doing it, she's been helping us do it as well.
You know, we're getting caught up in the home run race, but I want to ask you, just how impressed have you been with this pitching staff, not allowing an earned run through 10 games? And also just trying to manufacture innings, because you think of the run rules, you've lost 2 full games because of early run rules. Just kind of getting innings for all your pitchers.
Yeah, it's interesting because people would think, what's wrong with a 5-inning run rule? And for us, it's just really isn't good for us, because there are players on the bench that are trying to get in and get at bats. There's pitchers that are looking for innings. It's kind of tough on those that are not everyday players, and trying to squeeze them in and give them opportunity. It puts a little unnecessary pressure on them, but they feel it. They think, I may not get another opportunity for a while. Our pitching staff has been tremendous tag team, and to watch Nicole May with the experience that she got from the World Series, she looks like a very confident, strong pitcher on the mound. Jordy, we knew, was going to come in bringing a very fiery, intense, focused attitude and approach on the mound, and she's shown that it works in college. And Hope Trotwine has been a pitcher that has learned a lot. She has learned so much. She's been healthy, her arm's feeling good. She's just really learned a lot from Jen Rocha. And she is really caught up in breaking down video, looking at hitters, how do I set them up? And so much so that she's now interested in being potentially a pitching coach. So that's always wonderful to hear as a coach, when your players want to go into that direction. That means that they are enjoying what they're doing. But the 3 of them have been close to perfection. I've been really proud of them.
Patty, thanks so much. Good luck this weekend out there.
Thank you. Yeah.
Go to Ryan Aber.
Yeah, Patty, last week you talked about being confident that Jocelyn was about to take off. During the weekend down there in Houston, did you get a sense before that game on Saturday, the first game, that she was right on the cusp of that? And just what did you see out of her last week after we talked to you, and those first couple of days down there?
I think when she hit her first one down in Houston, she just felt, and she looked different. She looked different the way she's running around the bases. Her swing looked like it normally does. And to be quite honest, the way she went off out there, I wasn't ready for. I didn't expect it. So much so that our team, we had to get a GoPro in the dugout. I mean, it was happening very quickly, and we didn't want to miss the moment. And she had her dad and her grandmother and a ton of cousins and family members. I mean, a ton of them there holding up the flag from Hawaii. It was just really a really awesome moment to see. And I think she just almost felt like she wanted to do it in front of all of her family that way. She was on fire. She's on fire. So let's hope that this next one doesn't get lost in a gutter or wherever it ended up. I have no idea how it found its way in a drain, if that's even true. I don't know if that's even a true story, but that will go down in history as to where her tying ball went.
Did you look for the ball at all?
No. No, okay, so I've talked to our support staff and I said, everybody, all hands on deck, get ready, because when it's the tying one, everyone's got to, like, we've got to get people out in the outfield. We've got to, and I just think it happened so fast. I think I had people on the way out there, but they couldn't find it. So either someone has it or the Ninja Turtles have it down there in the underground.
Hey, I really appreciate it, Patty. Good luck this weekend.
Sure.
I tried, Coach. I promise. We'll go to Jenny Carlson.
You can't come to me while I'm laughing about Leonardo having the home run ball in my head. Oh, that's a good image. I like that a lot. So I know a lot of focus obviously right now on Jossie, but I was asking her about this and I wanted to get your thoughts about her sophomore year, Patty. You decided she was going to go on a cruise, as she calls it now, and take a little break from you guys. At the time, I know it was tough on her and it was tough on you. It obviously changed her season, got it going again. But I'm curious if you think now there are still ripples from that decision to give her that softball break back then.
I do. And looking back, the reason why I did it, one, she wasn't enjoying what she's doing, but she was a distraction to the team. And I mean, I think you all know the story, so it ended up working out well. I don't know if she wants me to say this, but this is the ripple effect. So she's behind in academics in a few areas. And I heard about it. And I don't care if you're a super senior, you're still being held to a standard. So without calling her, my text is, if you do not get this done by this time, you will not be on the bus to Palm Springs. Boom, immediate text. I got it going on. I have it in by, like, it's a quick response saying, don't worry, I'm going to have it done. And I don't know how close she was to having it done, but I have people following what she's doing to make sure that it does get done. So the old Jossie would almost care less that I'm reaching out to her. And I take that very respectfully. I think she does it very respectfully and appreciates the opportunity she has here and so forth. So yeah, the ripple effect is still very much alive. And I'm happy for her to maintain that because it's really helped her turn into a woman that she is today.
You know, I know we saw this last year in the series and asked you about it then, you know, just the impactful home runs, you know, she hits them under pressure. And now obviously the pressure is every time she steps up because of this record chase, but she doesn't seem to feel that. My guess is that's partially her demeanor, her personality, but do you think that there are the lessons that maybe stem from getting that joy back a couple years ago when you decided to, you know, leave her at home for a series or a few games?
Yeah, I think so. I think she in her mind. It's like, I'm never going to miss a moment again, and I'm going to do things right. I'm going to be a good example to the younger players. She does have a demeanor that is really very much like Lauren Chamberlain. You could walk up and not know whether she struck out 4 times or hit 4 home runs. And that's the beauty of her balance in her mind. So what she did the first weekend, I was concerned, but I'm thinking this is going to happen. I don't know when, but it will happen. And it was almost like she didn't believe what I was saying. And she's thinking, I have to hit 6. And I'm like, Jossie, you have 65 games to hit 6 home runs. You can do this. And it's almost like she didn't believe me in the first weekend. And then she's like, what am I doing? And that's kind of how she took off here. So she's in the right track.
Thanks, Patty.
Yeah.
I'll go to John Hoover.
Hi, Patty. I asked Jocelyn about, only one other person around can understand what she's going through right now, and that's Lauren. And she said that she asked you, did Lauren go through this? And you told her apparently, yes, the exact same thing. Do you remember that conversation? And can you relate kind of what Lauren went through to what Jocelyn's going through right now?
Yeah, it's similar but different. The similarity is the pressure that they put on themselves. Where it became a little bit different, Jossie's road doesn't have a timeline on it. She needed so many at this season, and we knew she's going to get it. Lauren was running out of time, and she also had Shelby Penley chasing the same record. So it's like you've got a Babe Ruth and whoever you want, Maris, whoever, they're chasing each other for the same home run record on the same team, which was, you would think would be a glorious, glorious fun. It was awful. It was absolutely awful because they're trying to outdo each other a little bit. Parents are involved. And it was almost like you had to take sides of who you were rooting for to get it. It was really interesting. I'll never forget that. It was very intense. It was a tough road for Lauren. It took a longer time than I anticipated for her to reach that space. I just think Jossie's setup was a little bit easier for her because she has the entire year to pull it off.
I remember during Lauren's big chase that she was hitting them so far and so often and with such power. In my mind, I was thinking, well, no one will ever do this again. And here we are, 7 years later, and someone's doing it again. Is that a thing where a kid has to visualize it from an early age, dream about it? How do you surmise that?
Yeah, that's, I don't know that answer, except I do know Jossie did. Jossie puts her mind to something, she's going to do it. It's really unique for someone her age. I mean, she was doing that back in high school when she's wrestling in high school and saying, I'm going to do, and she wins a state championship by dislocating the other girl's arm to do it. And not that she was planning that, but she knew she was going to be the champion, wrestler. She really does put her mind to things. And it's really, she's got a lot of vested interest in USA softball. And right now she's really focusing on that as her future, but right now focusing on another championship and playing her best. So when she gets her mind set on it, she gets it done. And I did start from a young age, and I think it was the underdog. Kids from Hawaii don't do this on the big stage. I'm going to be the first female that people know my name. And here we are 4 years later, 5 years later.
Thank you, Patty. Appreciate it.
Go to Abby Bitterman.
Yeah, Patty, I wanted to ask you just about, from a program standpoint, when you look at the NCAA record book, there's not a ton of, Oklahoma listed there. There's Lauren and there's Shelby, but, there's a lot of players from Arizona and UCLA and things like that. And like you mentioned after the game on Sunday, that these records, last for a long time. So just from a program standpoint, what does what Jocelyn's doing with this record right now? What does this mean kind of for the program?
I think it really cements the Sooners as one of the best hitting programs to have played the college game as of right now. To me, if someone could break Jossie's record, it might be T.R.A. Jennings. But what you're going to have to do now is average over 30 home runs over the course of your 4 years, which is really, really hard to do. So I think it's going to hold strong for a while, but to have Lauren have it, Jossie take it, have Shelby Penley in the race. I mean, it's just a celebration of hitting excellence in this program. And I just, I credit our hitting coaches who have helped these guys get there along the way.
Thanks, Patty.
I will go to Ches.
Hey, Patty. How's it going?
Hey, how's it going?
It's good to see you.
You too.
So obviously, I just imagine Jossie has ridden the roller coaster of emotions. How do you help players manage their emotions and mental approach with all this publicity, while at the same time continuing to raise the bar for a really, really good team?
Yeah, it's just having some personal conversations about, like, if you're chasing a record, then you really aren't related to team. You're related to yourself. You're looking out for yourself. These things come naturally, organically. They shouldn't be tried for. And I think that's where the problem, that's where we get to. So it's just getting her to, I don't know, I hope I don't make her feel bad, but I'm just like, don't think about yourself. Don't think about your awards. Don't think about, all of your honors. Think about how to help this team be better. And we can't just put it into perspective, because when you chase something in sport, if that's all you're focused on is your own personal honors, accolades, it's not fun. It's not fun for you, and it's not fun for the team. And it really, like I had said earlier about Jossie, she was a distraction because she was caught up in her own self. And when you just get caught up, Jossie gets caught up in the team. And that's where I think we find the money, is when she really gets caught up in the team and she's not thinking, and she's getting caught up in their at-bats. So she's thinking about what they're doing and not what she has to do. And I felt that this weekend, like nobody's business. She was just caught up in our team getting on fire offensively. And she was a catalyst for that and had a lot of fun doing it.
It looks fun. What's it been like? I mean, it's always fun being on the winning side. Everyone knows
Right.
that. What's it been like for you as a coach, and also just like a fan of softball, to watch somebody like Jocelyn, Lauren Chamberlain, you mentioned Shelby Penley, come into your program and flourish and have these amazing careers? What's that been like?
Oh, just honored, proud to watch them also take it past the college level and go into pro or internationally. It's just, I'm prideful. I'm appreciative of their commitment and their hard work. I'm appreciative of our coaches who have done a lot to help. It's not just me. No, not me. It's JT. Before then, it was Trip McKay. These guys were really helping our hitters learn to be good, confident hitters without the whole psychological tick that goes on where you're just all of a sudden, you just can't see it, you can't feel it. They have their ups and downs, but I think just the culture of our program is very much team. And if you come in chasing, like I said, something for yourself, it doesn't fit our culture, and everybody knows that. So I think that is where they get to relax and just play. And that's part of this culture. You cannot be an individual on this team. It just does not work. And they had figured that out early. And I think that helped them just play hard for a team.
Well, thanks, Patty. Good luck this weekend. Safe travels.
Are you going to be there?
I will not be there, but I'll be there for I know, don't look at me that way. I'll be there for the Texas series.
Of course. And
Yeah.
if you want to make a bet, let's go. We handshake whenever you're ready.
We'll go to game.
I'm ready.
Go ahead, Garen.
Sorry, Patrick. Hey, Patty. Can you speak to Lauren Chamberlain's approach to Jocelyn's pursuit of a record? Obviously, it seems overwhelmingly supportive, but just from your standpoint, what that's meant and how that's been handled by the soon-to-be former holder of that mark.
Yeah, another proud moment for me, just to see her selflessness. She was at the World Series with an Alo jersey on. She made it herself. I didn't, she just came out with it. Lauren has been a good mentor for Jossie since Jossie arrived, because I think Lauren knew that this young lady is going to have some power and hit some home runs. So I think Lauren, the two of them really connect very well. So I know they do talk a lot, and I just think it's selfless, and I'm so proud and appreciative of the class that Lauren has with this happening. I know Lauren is going to be out in Palm Springs, and I'm really excited about that. And she's prideful of our program. She's not walking around going boo-hoo like she's taking it from me. She's just happy that it's staying in this program. And that says a lot to Lauren and who she is now as a woman.
The fact that Jocelyn's about to get there is I think, put the attention sort of back on Lauren's chase and the stamp she put on your program. Was she your first player that had sort of you had arrived by the time she did as a program, I know that, but was there just a different aura about her that sort of elevated what you were building to a different level? Did that help that cause?
Yeah, I mean, when I was recruiting her, she was a third baseman, and I liked her on defense, but she had a different kind of swing. And I just envisioned her getting in the weight room and really getting work and getting stronger. She has a body for it, but she really has a swing. She had the swing for it. So it was just kind of putting it all together, my envisioning like this could be an elite type hitter. She took off. And the beauty of Lauren is a lot like Jossie. Like, they don't get too high, they don't get too low. When you get hitters that think too much, then they get in these really tough slumps. These two didn't waste a lot of time. They didn't lose weekends and weekends and weekends because they just feel like Lauren at one time was hitting off of one leg, hitting home runs off of one leg, just because she wanted to stay in the game. So I think Lauren definitely, and Jossie, you look at their bodies and you think if we could get them really strong, because they both had the powerful swing in high school. Did I think they were going to be home run NCAA record holders? No, I don't know. I didn't know how good they could be, but when I watch it now, it just definitely does make sense.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
We'll go to Joey Helmer.
Yeah, Patty, obviously these awards in many ways are team awards too. And obviously your coaching staff should be praised, but just in terms of JT's role in this, how instrumental has he been with Jocelyn and her career as a hitter?
I think very instrumental. He has a good routine for her. She has the freedom to say, I need more work with this. Can I come in and work on this? Or if I'm coming in at night, what's the right thing you think I should work on? He doesn't favor her. He doesn't put her up on a pedestal. To him, she's just like another hitter. And that's what I think the key is just making her feel like she's one of our hitters in our lineup. He pushes her, but he has a really good demeanor with her where they talk a good conversation on hitting.
Go to Ryan Chapman.
Hey, Coach, didn't think I have to ask this at the start of the year, but with the fiasco as far as finding the ball in Houston and you guys having to kind of take things upon yourselves to undergo that search, have you had to put in plans for this weekend for, hey, we're getting that ball, we're bringing that baby back to Norman for Jocelyn? Is that something you've actually had to think about? Do you ever think you'd have to go over that?
Yes. We definitely have to have a plan because out in Palm Springs, there is just zero security. There's just people everywhere. There's not a lot of seating. So there's people out in the outfield, a large. Now, we may have to buy it back from somebody is what my guess is, but I'm going to try to get our people out there and help us retrieve it because it's going to be an archive, as will her bat and everything else that she's owning right now. So we'll find it. We will find, I will have people located in the right places.
Thanks, Coach.
We'll go to James Hale.
Hey, Patty, I know there's so much talk about Jocelyn, but I'd like to talk about the team a little bit. Jana Johns, when she came to your program last year, was a good player out of South Carolina. I mean, she hit 15 bombs one year, and she had a pretty good year. I mean, she's your third baseman on the national championship team. But she's better this year. She's a better player. She looks better at the plate. That's what you love about coaching, I think. You've told me before, when players get better, that's a pretty good example, right?
Yeah, she's been playing just all around fantastic. Great plays at third base, just grinding, hustling, blue collar style, up there and leading our team in a lot of areas offensively. And the key to that is competition. And I've got Alyssa Brito breathing down her neck. I've got Alyssa Brito breathing down a lot of people's neck out there right now, trying to find a place to land. So Jana Johns has stepped up to the occasion and said, this is me, this is my spot right now. And there's nothing she's done to make me take her out of the lineup. So she has really fought hard to secure that position. And I love that about her, that she didn't back down. There are other players that, might back down from that. And that's still in total motion right now, is there are players on the bench that are fighting for positions, and you can feel it and you can see it. And I think that's what makes our players go to another level, is like, I don't want to get replaced, because the moment I'm replaced, someone gets hot. Now it's me sitting on the bench. So that's the beauty of this roster right now, is that it is loaded enough to press anybody at any time. And I think that has benefited Janet, has responded really well.
Thanks, Patty.
Looks like last one for Coach Eric Lopez.
Coach, I've been going to games in Houston for a decade as a visitor. You're not the first person I've heard hear that story about lost home runs. There's been some weird home runs over there. Balls in gas stations, people driving by and grabbing the ball. So trust me, it's a weird place there to find a home run, unfortunately. But I want to ask you, you mentioned earlier the differences in the chase when Lauren and Shelby were chasing Stacey Newman versus Jocelyn. What was something that you and JT took from that experience that you've applied now to help Jocelyn, and you might help maybe down the road if you're ever in this situation again?
Yeah, I think that year JT was like a graduate assistant back in 2013. Yeah, it was. No, wait a minute. Yeah, it was. It was. That year when Shelby and Lauren are chasing the home run title, was probably the worst coaching job I had done. And I'm going to tell you why. because I didn't want to call anything when I felt it. So Lauren Chamberlain is a very good bunter, and I would love to squeeze with her, as is Shelby. And in the moment, I'm like, okay, this is a perfect time for this. But then I'm thinking, okay, if I do that, I'm taking the bat out of her hands, and I could be the reason why. I started thinking that way. I started thinking of how to help them get to the record versus helping our team by doing what my gut says is the best to do in that moment. That's what I learned, is that I'm never going to allow that to happen again. So Jossie's a good bunter. I don't have her bunt a lot. I called a run and hit with her in California, and she hit it over the fence on a changeup. So I'm not afraid of things with Jossie. But I personally learned to let it happen naturally. And I got to keep coaching, and I got to keep playing the game on my side.
And obviously it's fitting that there's always eyeballs at Mary Nutter, and obviously there'll be more eyeballs even with Jocelyn. But what does it mean to be back at Mary Nutter? I've had so many coaches tell me this offseason, one of the things they took for granted that they'll appreciate more from last year was being at Mary Nutter. There was no Mary Nutter last year. You've been there so many times. What is it about that place that is makes so many people excited to be there? Yeah. Obviously great competition, but what is it?
It's like a carnival, feels like a carnival. And we are like the animals at the carnival. Like we are entertaining everyone. It's just a celebration of softball is what it feels like. There are kids from 6 and under in their uniforms to kids that are in high school. Some kids we're recruiting, some that are already signed, all of their parents. The travel ball community comes out large. The atmosphere, the setting, the weather, a lot of our athletes, their parents are living in California. So we have a lot of Sooner fans out there. So we bring a lot of money to the Mary Nutter tournament through the gates, through, in every way, shape, and form. So it's just really a fantastic atmosphere, and a lot of alcoholic beverages flowing makes it probably even a little more exciting for the fans.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks much, Coach.